Yes. So I will share the screen now. Share the screen. Hmm. So are you able to see the screen now? I hope it is visible. Yes. So okay. So last day uh, we discussed about the various resistances of the diode, DC resistance, AC resistance, average resistance, then the different models, how to model a diode, because not always we would be able to use the Shockley's equation of the actual diode, but someone has their mic open. Okay, now it is fine. So always we will not be able to use the Shockley's equation, so we would have to approximate the diode behavior, and there are three approximations which we learned: first, second, third, which is the ideal diode, where it is simply like a switch, and then simplified model where we have a voltage bias, which is a knee voltage. When it is on, we also have the knee voltage coming into the picture, and the piecewise linear model where an associated average resistance also comes into the picture along with the knee voltage. So when the diode is in forward bias, there is a potential. There is like a potential as well as a resistance in place of the diode. So with the help of this, we did a very simple circuit analysis, circuit solving, and you did some more in the tutorials. Some of the two of the batches, others will also doing in this particular week. So let me proceed further. So there is an important concept called the Zoner diode, and this is highly useful, and there is a lot of different applications which are made using the Zoner diode. So what is the Zoner phenomenon, and what is the Zoner diode? So we discussed already that there is a breakdown phenomenon that happens. There is a breakdown region in the reverse bias region. So when the voltage in the reverse bias is exceeded by some amount, then suddenly there is a large number of minority carriers appearing within the diode, and due to this there is a large current. Suddenly there is a huge current, and we get a large current, and as you can see uh, in this picture in the left side, so in this region there is a large current, and this is called the Zoner region. And in this region you can see that the rise of the current, so rise of course in the negative side, but we can call it rise. The rise of the current is sharper than in this side. You can notice this, that the rise of the current is sharper than in this side. That means the voltage of the breakdown voltage is held at a constant level. As we are increasing the current in this region, the current is of course decided by the network, by the actual circuit, because there are resistances and everything in the circuit. So there is a certain value of the current through the diode, but the voltage across the diode will be kept at this particular level of the breakdown voltage. Here, as after you cross the knee voltage, the voltage actually keeps on increasing a bit. As the current gets increased, the voltage is also increasing across the diode. Okay. For our purpose of approximations, we don't consider that, but in reality, there is an increase in the voltage. But in this situation, in the zonal region, there is no increase in the voltage also. You can consider that the voltage is almost constant, and this makes the engineers able to design regulators, voltage regulators, using the Zoner diode. So the Zoner diode acts as a Zoner regulator. Now you please remember that not all diodes can act in the Zoner region, because breakdown is actually a phenomenon, and normal diodes, if they are operated in the breakdown region, actually breaks down, and the diode is not will not be able to use that diode anymore. So Zoner diodes are special purpose diodes which are made to operate in the Zoner region, which are made to operate in the breakdown region. Okay, so please refresh your ideas about why the breakdown happens. So we had already discussed it. So how the minority carriers, there is an avalanche of the minority carriers, how that phenomenon takes place. So the physics behind it, have a refresh of that. But the actual thing, what we would utilize in our circuits, etc., is only this much of information, that when the Zoner diode is acted in the Zoner region, the voltage across the diode is practically constant. It is more constant than our approximations of the diode. In the approximation of the diode also we held the voltage constant, but in reality the Zoner diode Zoner breakdown voltage is more constant than that. So that can be used as a voltage regulator. So the Zoner diode can be used as a voltage regulator. Another important thing to note is this: there is a difference between normal diodes and Zoner diodes. Zoner diodes are specially made diodes, specially manufactured diodes, so that it can withstand the breakdown, and actually does not break down in the Zoner region. It withstands the Zoner phenomenon and operates in the Zoner region. However, normal diodes cannot withstand the breakdown phenomenon and actually breaks down or becomes they become destroyed when they are operated in the Zoner region, in the breakdown region. There is some special material. I am not very knowledgeable about that. Books may mention it, so you go into the book in a bit detail. Perhaps they mention it, perhaps they don't mention it, because we are not very much concerned about the material aspect of making the diode. We are more concerned about the practical use of it. But I am sure you can find that information. If you are curious about it, you can find that information in textbooks or maybe in the about the internet also. Okay. So we So we move ahead now. So we come to so last day we had discussed a very basic circuit using diode, and I told you that there can be many such circuits using diodes, and how we go ahead to analyze or to solve those circuits by utilizing the different approximations of the diode during its forward bias condition and during its reverse bias condition. Reverse bias, there is no approximation, it's simply a open circuit in reverse bias. In forward bias, there are different levels of approximation. Either it is ideal, that means it is a short circuit, or it is second approximation, where there is a bias voltage, and the third approximation where there is a bias voltage as well as a resistance. So the different levels of approximation we utilize to solve the circuit, and when those different levels of approximation are to be utilized, that also we had discussed, and we had found that normally, usually in most cases, the ideal diode approximation is quite valid. In some cases, we may be using the second approximation, where we put a bias voltage of the knee voltage. The knee voltage is also put as a bias when it is in forward bias region. So any circuit you see using diodes, we'll be able to we can solve that circuit using these approximations. However, there are some very specific circuits, some very specific applications which are typical, and we are able to design those circuits utilizing diodes. So they are typical diode circuits. So this sort of operations or this sort of applications we had been able to discover because of the presence of diodes. So that's why they are very specific circuits, and specific circuits which we have to study separately in the section of our study of diodes. So the first such circuit is a half-wave rectifier. Rectifier, I don't know if you have already been already come across this term in other courses. Rectifier means there is an alternate or a sinusoidal current, there is an alternate current, AC current or AC voltage, and rectification means to convert it to DC. The conversion of an AC to a DC is called rectification. As if we are rectifying the these pulses, actually this to and fro motion of the voltage. We are rectifying it and making it a DC. So you can perhaps understand in this manner that why this name is given. So this is a rectifier. So what is a half-wave rectifier? The half-wave rectifier, now you look into the diagram now. The half-wave rectifier is like this. So there is an input voltage this side, and it passes through a diode, and there is a load resistance. A very simple circuit, a simple diode and a resistance. Now what happens? So I think we had analyzed this circuit only, but there was a DC voltage here that time. Now we have a AC voltage at this end. The VI graph is shown here. There is a peak voltage of Vn. Now what would happen? Whenever this diode is experiencing a positive voltage, so whenever the positive cycle is in Vi, you can appreciate that the diode is experiencing a positive bias, a forward bias. It is experiencing a forward bias. So when it is experiencing the forward bias, it is in conduction mode. So then when you consider the ideal approximation, so it is simply a short circuit. So it is a simple resistance and a sinusoidal voltage. So here a sinusoidal current is flowing, and a output voltage is also sinusoidal in nature. So you can see here that in this particular cycle, first positive cycle, the output that you are getting is also a sinusoidal. And what is the voltage that you are getting? So since this is short, this voltage directly appears here. So the peak of that voltage is also Vn. Now when the input voltage has reached the negative cycle, then what happens? Then this diode is in a reverse bias. I hope you are able to appreciate that it is in reverse bias. These things actually, as you look more and more into diodes and associated voltages in the network, you have to develop this intuition whether the diode is in forward bias or reverse bias. This is the first thing that you should develop while analyzing diode circuits. So at a particular time instant, at a particular voltages across the in the circuit, what is the condition of the diode? Is it in forward bias or is it in reverse bias? This intuition you have to develop. Only then you can do further analysis. So now I hope you are very easy to understand that when we are in the negative half cycle, then this Vi, it is getting reversed. So minus is here, plus is here, and that's why the diode is in reverse bias. Then this is open circuit, and when it is open circuit, there is no voltage passing through the, no current passing through the resistor. So when no current is passing through the resistor, what is the voltage across the resistor? It is zero. So in this half cycle, you see the voltage, output voltage is zero. Again, when the input voltage rises to the positive half cycle, there is, in the positive half cycle, there is a current and a corresponding voltage in the output. So the same, so what happens here? It is as if the circuit is cutting off the negative half cycles. So only the positive half cycles remain, and the full wave, the full sinusoidal wave becomes a half wave, That's why it is called a half wave rectifier. So when the rectification is like this, so as you can see, it is not exactly a DC voltage. It is a pulse voltage only. But any alternating current or voltage has a DC component, that you know. If we filter the alternating any alternating current or any alternating signal in actually, if you filter any alternating signal, let me ask, have you been introduced to the concept of filtered signals, DC component of any signal? Are you introduced to this concept? Hello? One is saying no, sir. One is saying sir. Yes. So in which subject were you introduced about DC component of signals, filters? Hmm? So you can speak up because I am not seeing the actual team screen. I am seeing the whiteboard. Yes, that's open now. Someone was trying to say something, but it disturbed the entire. There was a voice feedback from someone. So anyway, so since you know these things, so that is good, and you know that for any alternating signal, there would be a DC component if we pass that signal through a filter. So what would that DC component be for a half wave signal like this? So for a half wave signal like this, the DC component, you will be able to calculate that it is Vp by pi. Vp is the peak voltage, the maximum voltage. So it is Vm. So Vm or Vp is the same actually. Some books mention it as Vm, some books mention it as Vp. So it is a peak voltage that you should remember only. The peak voltage divided by pi, which is nearly equal to 0.318 Vp. You can remember this formula. For half wave rectifier, it is 0.318 Vp. And another thing to note is that the frequency of the output signal is same as the frequency of the input signal. What is frequency? That, or what is the time period if you relate to it? The time period is the time after which the signal repeats itself. So the time after which the signal repeats itself is same for the input signal as well as the output signal. That is very evident from the graph that we are seeing here. Now another important thing, you should note this formula. You already might know the Vrms. So in the input side, normally this input source, if you are given that this is a 10 volt AC, then the 10 volt AC, we mean that the 10 is RMS value, not the peak to peak value. Okay. So we need to know the conversion between RMS and peak to peak as well for a full AC signal. For a full sinusoidal AC signal, sinusoidal AC, please remember that for a sinusoidal AC, the Vrms is 0.707 Vm or V peak. So from that you can know the Vm or Vp, and from that the output VDC you would be able to calculate. So these relationships are important to be kept at your fingertips. So these relationships must be at your fingertips so that you will be able to solve any question, any numerical related to half wave rectifier as well as full wave rectifier, which we are going to learn in a bit. Now what this picture is saying, this 2.45 that is here, this picture is from Boylested actually. So this has analyzed the positive half cycle and the negative half cycle in two different pictures. In the positive half cycle, as you can see, the diode can be considered short, so V0 is Vi, and in the negative half cycle it is open. So what happens? There is no current here, so V0 is 0. So this is what I already had described. So it has elaborated it in two different pictures. Now for your purpose of numerical exercises, it is this sort of explanation is like a rough work for you. So if you are able to analyze it simply by seeing the circuit, you can do it. But if you need to break it down into positive cycle and negative cycle, you can also do it. If it is not asked in the question to show the positive cycle behavior in a separate circuit, negative cycle behavior in a separate circuit, if it is not explicitly asked in the question to do like that, you don't need to do like it. You can analyze from looking at one circuit only, as I did, and as I analyzed by looking into this circuit, just by looking at it, I analyzed both the positive half cycle and the negative half cycle. You can do it like that. Also, one more thing, practice drawing this sort of Vi and V0 graph on top of each other. Here what has happened, at this time instance are made fixed, so we are trying to see what is happening to the output when the input is like this. So in the input positive half cycle, what is the output? When in the input negative half cycle, what is the output? So these dotted lines are very important. These dotted vertical lines are very important. Okay. So this sort of drawing you should also practice. This third picture, this picture is when you are considering the second approximation of the diode. So in the second approximation of the diode, during forward bias, the knee voltage is there applied across the diode. The knee voltage is there, so this battery, it is like a battery which is within the diode. It is not a battery, it is simply the barrier potential, the knee voltage. And please take note of the positive and negative sides. So when the diode is like this, then the knee voltage is positive is in this side and negative is in this side. So it is trying to oppose the forward bias. Please remember this. The direction of the knee voltage is trying to oppose the forward bias. So its direction you can decide now. So now what happens? The diode conducts only after the Vi has gone past 0.7 volt. So when the Vi is less than 0.7 volt, the diode will not conduct. Less than 0.7 volt, diode is open. More than 0.7 volt, only then the conduction takes place. And when it is more than 0.7 volt, the V0 is Vi minus 0.7 volt. V0 is Vi minus 0.7 volt. So what would be the peak voltage at the output? It would be peak voltage at the input minus Vk. Vm minus Vk is the peak voltage at the output. So the DC voltage that you are getting, DC level, is 0.318 of that peak voltage. Now obviously you can understand that this is an approximation, because we have simply superimposed the half wave DC value to this particular wave, which is not exactly a half wave, because there is some more, like it is shorter than a half wave, but it is not very much like these values are very small. How much it is deviating from the half wave, that is very small, because the knee voltage is very small, it is 0.7 volt only. So approximately we can have this value as the DC level. Okay, for practical purposes, or for just analyzing whether the circuit is behaving correctly or not, we can utilize this value. So this is for the second approximation. Another thing we must remember is this thing, which is the PIV rating of the diode. This is also a question that might come often, that you have designed, suppose a particular circuit you have designed, what should be the PIV rating of the diode? Now for understanding, for solving this, we have to first understand what is the PIV rating. The PIV rating is the peak inverse voltage. Peak inverse voltage. When I mention this, some of you have already understood what it should be. Maybe some of you have already read it in the book, because I have suggested to read before coming to the class. So you may have already read this in the book. So what it would be? So in the inverse side, or in the reverse bias side, there is this breakdown phenomenon that would happen. So what is the maximum voltage in which the diode can withstand the reverse bias? So if it crosses this voltage, breakdown would be happening. So this is the rating, this is the peak inverse voltage rating, which the diode should not cross in the reverse bias situation. That means the reverse bias across the diode should not be more than this PIV rating. Okay. So then with this type of idea, now you will be able to calculate the PIV rating of the diode placed in the half wave rectifier circuit. How to do that? Since we are dealing with reverse bias condition, we have to make the diode open. So in the open condition, what is the maximum reverse bias voltage that can appear across the diode? That we have to check. The PIV must be more than that voltage. The PIV of the diode must be more than the maximum voltage appearing across the diode in the reverse bias condition for that particular circuit. If the circuit becomes different, that means if the Vm changes, if the R changes, then this voltage, the maximum reverse voltage across the diode, will also change. So you can use a different diode with perhaps a smaller PIV rating, or maybe you have to use a different diode with a larger PIV rating in that situation. Okay. But now we have to understand how to calculate this PIV rating. So it is simply, you can say the PIV, whenever you calculate, you can say that PIV is greater than some value, and this value you need to calculate. What is this value? This is the maximum reverse bias voltage appearing across the diode. How to calculate that? The maximum negative voltage or maximum voltage that in the input side, which is creating this reverse bias condition, that is what? That is minus Vm. So that minus Vm is drawn here. And what is the voltage across this resistor? It is 0 volt, because no current is flowing across this. So with the knowledge of these two voltages, you would be able to calculate this voltage, because there is KVL at your disposal. So use the KVL always. So using the KVL, you are able to understand that this PIV is also like this maximum reverse bias voltage that is appearing here is also Vm. So your PIV must be greater than Vm. Okay. So PIV must be greater than Vm. Actually, you should say that the magnitude of the peak inverse voltage should be greater than Vm. And if you are more precise about signs, you should say that the PIV must be less than equals to minus M. Okay. Any confusion in this point, PIV? Any confusion here? It is very important. You might be asked to calculate PIV in any circuit, PIV of the diode. Yeah, please speak loudly a bit. Yeah, please tell me. Yes, yes, yes. Because PIV should be less than the PIV is what? The inverse, the voltage which the circuit should not cross in the reverse bias condition. So the maximum voltage that is appearing in the across the diode in the reverse bias condition, your PIV must be less than that. Okay. When we are putting this less, the magnitude wise it should be greater than. But you see that this is in the number line, you can see. So here it is 0. So now here is your breakdown voltage. So what you can say it is PIV. You cross this PIV, you enter breakdown. Okay. When you cross this PIV just by a bit, you enter breakdown. That means your circuit voltage can operate in this region. In all this region, the circuit voltage can be there. So your PIV should be less than this voltage or more than this voltage. Less than means it is in the left side. More than means it is in the right side. It should be less than. And this magnitude is minus. It is in minus. Negative. It is a negative value. So it is less than negative of Vm. No, it is a reverse bias. See the diode is reverse bias. This side is negative. This side is positive. It is there in the data sheet which comes along with the diode, but you will be asked to solve numerical problem. There you will not be provided the data sheet. You will be asked to find out the PIV. Okay. So what should be the PIV so that your diode will be able to operate in this circuit? So you should simply write down that we should select a diode with PIV less than equals to minus Vm. The PIV can be any value less than minus Vm. So suppose your Vm is, so Vm you have given here from input side is 10 volt. Suppose 10 volt peak to peak. So Vm is 10. So your PIV must be less than minus 10. So now there is a diode with PIV 12 volt, minus 12 volt to be more precise. So you can use that. There is a diode with PIV minus 8 volt. You will not be able to use that. If the PIV is minus 15 volt, you will be able to use that. So any PIV rating which is less than minus 10 volt, you will be able to use that. So your answer for the numerical would be that PIV of the diode should be less than minus 10 volt. Got it? And I hope this less than minus Vm, that confusion is over now. This sort of understanding you need to be very clear about. The less than a negative value means what and greater than a negative value means what. So these things you should be very clear about. So when we are mentioning only the magnitude, of course, PIV, the magnitude of the PIV is greater than Vm. But when we are mentioning along with the negative sign, PIV is less than equals to minus V. After this, we come to the full wave rectifier. So the full wave rectifier, as the name suggests, the rectification is done on the total wave. So you see that now you see the output. So both the left side figure and the right side figure are two different circuits for full wave rectification, but you see the output is the same. The output is like this. Both the cycles are brought into the output wave as positive cycles. Of course, if I ask you now, what should be the DC level of this signal? Since you already know that the DC level of the half wave rectifier is Vp by pi, it is very easy to say that it would be 2 Vp by pi. You don't even need to do any calculation. So since last time only one cycle was there, now two cycles are there. So of course it becomes twice. What is the output frequency? What is frequency? What is the time period? No, frequency is not half. Time period has become half. What is that? Yeah, frequency is double. Frequency is double. So because time period is half, because the signal repeats itself after t by 2. So if this is total t for the input signal, now after t by 2, the signal repeats itself at the output. So the frequency is twice. Frequency has doubled. So this is some parameters for the output. But how does it happen? How does the full wave rectification take place? For that, we have to go through these two different circuits separately. They work in a bit different manner. So let us see this one first in the left hand side. So here, so there is a transformer here. This transformer is just nothing. You have a AC voltage at this side. So whatever AC voltage has appeared at this side, we are going to take that in our analysis. And if there is a transformer, of course, at the input side, there is a turns ratio by which you have to appropriately scale it to get the AC voltage at this output side. Okay. With the help of this AC voltage at the output circuit, you are going to analyze. So when you have the AC voltage like this, here it is positive, here it is negative here. Then what happens when it is, so it is center tap, as you can see it is center tap. So it is in the positive half cycle of the input side. So input side is this one. Let me start pinning down things. So input side is this one. So here plus this is minus. That means this point is more negative than this point, and this point is more positive than this point. So what would happen? You can see that this point and this point is same. So the diode here D1 in the positive half cycle is forward bias or reverse bias? It is forward bias, because this side, this plus appears in this place, and here this point is more negative and this point is connected to this point. So this is more negative than this point. So this is forward bias. But what about this diode D2? Here this side, which is more positive than this side comes to this end. through this resistor. This side comes to this side. So this is here it is more positive, here it is negative. So this is reverse bias. This is reverse bias. So if you are not so comfortable to visualize using this ground terminology, so you can probably draw the resistance directly here like this. Now it might become more easier for you. So when it is in the positive half cycle, this diode is feeling a forward bias and this diode is feeling a reverse bias. So the current will pass in this direction only and this is open circuit. So this is the first positive cycle. In the positive cycle, this is the case, and then what would happen? Then your what is the direction of flow through the load resistance, that we have to see. The direction of flow through the load resistance is from right to left, okay? Or if you consider this particular diagram, the original one is from top to bottom. So this is in the positive half cycle. So some in the positive half cycle, AC voltage will come here across the resistance V0. Now what happens in the negative half cycle? In the negative half cycle, what would happen? This would invert. So there is more voltage, more positive in this side and negative in this side. So in the negative half cycle, let me change the color. Negative half cycle, this would be plus and this would be minus. Correct? And that automatically, by the previous understanding, you can see that the D1 now becomes reverse bias and D2 becomes forward bias. When D2 becomes forward bias, the current flows in this direction, or the current flows here. If you consider this thing also, it will flow in this direction. So in both in the negative half cycle also, the direction of flow through the resistance remains same. The direction of current flow through the resistance remains same, and hence we get the same waves in the output, the same half cycle in the output in the same direction. So in this way, the total analysis of the half wave rectifier using a center tapped transformer can be done. So this repeats, of course, in the other cycles also this repeats. So you can understand how this is happening. Now let us come to the bridge rectifier. This is called the bridge rectifier. So here four diodes are connected in a bridge sort of thing. Here also, if you are not very comfortable with these designations of ground like this, you can consider the resistance to be connected across these 2 points. Actually, this point and this point is the same. So the resistance gets connected across these 2 points. Now you see in the positive half cycle, what happens? This voltage, this is plus and this is minus in the positive half cycle. So which diodes? This is D1, this is D2, this is D3, this is D4. Let me draw a bit legible manner. D2, D3, D4. Tell me which diodes are in forward bias when it is in the positive half cycle. Which diodes are in the forward bias and which diodes are in the reverse bias? Just you have D1, D2, here, right? Absolutely correct. So some intuition you have to apply here. So the intuition is like this: which diodes are feeling the positive pressure of the voltage? Those are in in forward bias. So of course this positive comes here. The anode side of D1 as well as D2 are feeling this positive pressure, and the cathode side of D3 and D4 are feeling the positive pressure, so these are reverse bias. So what is happening now? The current is flowing like this. Okay, the current is flowing like this, and in the output you get something like this. So here it is positive, here it is negative. Now when it changes, this is positive now, this is negative. So this positive and negative have been drawn in the two different circuits for better understanding, but you can see in the same circuit also. When it is positive, this is negative, so it is in the negative half cycle. Now D3 and D4 are forward biased, D1 and D2 are reverse biased. But still the current is flowing through the resistor in the same direction. This is what you only need to observe, that in both these two different circuits, the current through the resistor remains in the same direction in both positive cycle and negative cycle of the input. Hence, we get a full wave rectification. Both the positive cycle and the negative cycle is reproduced at the output as positive cycle. Of course, what is the voltage coming here? The voltage coming here at the output is same as the voltage. The peak voltage coming here at the output is same as the peak voltage of the input side, and here also peak voltage of this. Okay. Now some points of difference. If you apply the second approximation, then the Vp out is Vp in minus Vk for the center tap transformer. So Vp out is Vp in minus Vk because only one diode is in the path, in the forward path. But here two diodes are in the forward path. So it is 2 Vk, Vp in minus 2 Vk. Okay. Please understand this Vp is the voltage here. This Vp in is the voltage here. This Vp in is the voltage here. Okay. From this side we have started the analysis. Okay. So this Vp in is not the voltage here. So it depends, actually it depends on the N1 N2 ratio. Okay. And of course also the center tap operation is happening. So the voltage coming at this side is half also. But we are simply taking this as Vp and then noticing what is Vp out here. So this is Vp in and this is Vp out. This is Vp in and this is Vp out. You might, for a numerical problem, you might have to first calculate what this Vp in would be, because probably this particular voltage will be given to you. Okay, so you have to calculate what Vp in is by utilizing the idea of a transformer. Now another point of difference is this, that the PIV here, since in the reverse bias condition you have you have this only single diode here in the reverse bias condition, the PIV would be Vp out only. In this case, the PIV, when it is in the reverse bias condition, then these two diodes which are open circuit, both these will come together, and hence the PIV will be 2 Vp out. Okay, so that is what you should remember. This is the point of difference between these two types of configurations. So with this, I would end the lecture for today. Next day, I will continue with the circuit, and next day means tomorrow, I will continue with the circuit. And if you have any confusion, you go through this and go through the book also on full wave, half wave, and full wave rectifier. If you have any further queries, you please ask me, post me, and I will try to resolve that. Okay. So thank you for your attention, and if you have any quick queries, otherwise I will close the session. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I am leaving the thing now, ending the meeting. Thank you all. Thank you for coming.